Hold on, stop.
Welcome back to the Shit Show 2.0.
Okay, boomer.
Damn millennials. Wow.
Did not know that. Even flirters who are obviously mentally ill.
Oh, this is gonna go downhill real quick.
What is going on? And welcome to Take on the World with
The very best host in the world, Urethra Tube Johnny.
and Mike D. No Lexi this weekend. She's off gallivanting with her millennial friends.
Yes.
The podcast,
Doing whatever they say they do nowadays.
the podcast therapy dog won't come down if Lexi's not down here.
I heard him barking though when I pulled up.
Yeah.
Yip, 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 yip. He sounds like that. Spit potato chips at you. He sounds like that guy that the Whitakers.
We're one day closer to our West Virginia Mothman excursion.
And knowing if we get our tags to go
That's
out
right.
west.
That's right. We will know probably on our ride down. So either be a happy ride or a sad ride.
I'm still going, regardless.
I am too.
Don't give a shit.
Me neither.
So it's going to be a happy ride. One way or the other.
One way or the other. Road sodas in hand.
Road shoulders. Road case in hand.
Two. I got 2 cases to go down there.
Did you?
Of Labatt's.
I should get some.
Penguins cans for Rob.
I should get a Stella.
No.
Dude, Stella's good.
Get hams. He likes hams.
Really?
Yeah. What he drinks.
I'm going to show up with... Tank Guy's going to show up hams?
Yeah. Yeah, Tank Guy's going to show up with hams.
No, it's the only thing I can afford. Sorry.
No, it's actually what he drinks. Because he can't get Labatt's down there.
But Stella's so good.
It's okay.
No. Anyways.
We have to throw a care package of a couple micros to take with us.
I wanted to take my setup for like the fire starter kit, like try it out when we're down there.
Yeah.
I hope this guy doesn't think I'm some kind of fucking weirdo.
He's gonna think you're a weirdo. You're a weirdo.
No, touche. All right, whatever.
Duh.
Like, all right, you know, you really gotta start choosing better friends, Mike.
Nah, him and V are they're just cool people. Like, I know Rob since 9th grade, bro.
Well, I mean, I can pretty much get along with anybody. Like, I am who I am. That's all that I am.
And their shed guy, Jason, he's cool too.
Like, I don't think shed guy versus shed guy snoring each other to death. The fucking raptors come on loose.
That dude can sleep through anything, bro. Just like you.
Like, well, how does he sleep? Well, I'm pretty sure I saw him sleep standing up. We're in Saipan in a rainstorm on the roof. A sheet of metal in my hand. Yeah. What the fuck is he doing? I miss that so much, man. I want to go back so bad. Hey.
Good times.
The last episode is the only episode we've never mentioned Saipan on.
We didn't?
We didn't.
Are you sure?
Maybe some of the beer reviews, but yes, I know we didn't mention it last time.
I didn't even know we ever
Just if you guys didn't know, me and Mike put the Saipan together. It was probably the milestone of my life, other than my daughter being born. And
it was one of the 7 wonders of my life as well.
It was the 7 wonders of my life. Getting hit on by all those Korean chicks. I should have picked out a white goddamn. I don't know what you want that.
Hey, you sexy fat monkey! You got Facebook?
Hey, do you have anything with the straps larger than this? Like, larger. This one's too... It only goes around my leg. No. That's the only one, the bigger one we have.
Let me help you put on.
Yeah. You want to be my wife? How much money you make? Enough.
You have insurance?
Oh,
you're so racist.
That's all it is, though.
What are we talking about today?
We're talking about VIIIIETTTTNAMMMMM.
VIIIIETTTTNAMMMMM. We've tried this episode once before.
Audio sucked.
Audio sucked, and there were drunk people.
I think all three of us were. That was early. That was number 2. That was early.
Yeah.
Like, we were shit shows.
I think I was drinking Red Stag that night.
You know, we only had 3 bottles of Red Stag.
Anyhow.
I think I had, I don't know what the fuck I had. I had 40.
So,
What did I bring over that night?
you brought that St. Ides.
Yeah.
I was scraping a bomb in a barrel. You should have just brought a Colt 45.
No, oh, that's piss water.
Yeah, so St. Ides.
No, St. Ides is like a step above.
Yeah, it's urethra water. So, Vietnam War movies, the best, the worst, the most realistic, the most unrealistic. Now, like I said, this is the second time we tried this episode.
Right.
The first time, our audio was not cued in. It did not go well.
It's because Mike doesn't know what he's doing.
Well, I didn't, and I think I'm a little better now. A little bit. I think we're a little more dialed in.
I think so.
So, I had mentioned that, like, I grew up in the 70s. So I actually remember sitting in my living room and watching the withdrawal of the last of troops from Vietnam on the news. And I remember looking up at my mother and saying, "Mom, I wish I was 19 so I could go and fight in Vietnam." And my mom smacked me so hard, I flew from the living room.
She wasn't like, yeah, so do I.
Across
You little bastard.
Across the dining room floor into the kitchen wall. And now this is a memory of a 5-year-old kid remembering this. But I swear that's how it happened. She was so mad at me for saying that because, like, my mom knew people who were killed there, and I guess it a little too close to home for her.
Full of heartstrung for her.
Yeah.
Heartstring.
And I went through a lot of shit as a kid with my stepdad and whatnot, but I can count on one hand the number of times my mom had hit me. And that I remember being the very first. And so it's a touchy thing for a lot of people. So, but growing up, I always had this preoccupation with the Vietnam War. Probably because of a lot of movies being made at that time.
Well, I mean, like, as a young American kid growing up, I'm sure you were the same way, but I always remember being like, you know, the guns and robbers in the front yard or in the backyard or you know, having that like little snap gun with the red caps in it.
Yeah.
And playing war.
Yep.
Go up, like, we have sticks. You play war. That's like what you did.
Well, see, where I lived, we lived in a development in the middle of the country. And what we would do, we'd go out and play war. But, like, there was a creek. And it was a creek, not a creek. Just so you know, it was a creek. And it was the most wonderful creek ever. So this creek ran down through, and I was the kid who would put on fatigues and...
Sorry.
What?
Not sorry.
Fuck! I would paint my face with war paint, and I'd have a bayonet strapped to my leg. Yeah.
It's crazy. Would you have war syndrome at like 10?
I would crawl up. Crawl up that creek, and like when we played hide and seek, I could listen.
Knife in your mouth.
I could lay in the middle of a grass field and no one would see me, because you know where the shadows were. You lay just beyond the shadow where the light wasn't, and people's eyes don't adjust that well. And like I was that kid. I was that kid that would go up in the woods and spearfish for suckers. Like that's what I did. Like, so when I got into like middle or junior high and high school, every report I wrote was on the Vietnam War. Everyone. I wrote every report on the Vietnam. I based it off of, what I could read. There was a book that was out that was called Nam. It was short stories from soldiers, from letters who wrote them from Vietnam. It was actually a really good book.
I've been watching now. Anybody who listens to this, I highly suggest you look him up too. But it's Vietnam Voices. I don't know the guy that does it. I think it's from Billings, Montana, and it's a younger reporter, and he interviews all these Vietnam vets. Fucking awesome! Like each episode is probably like hour to an hour and a half, and it takes one guy, and it relives his like, what were you doing in Montana, like when you were a young man, and then what led you up to going to Vietnam, and then what'd you do when you got there, what happened, and then coming back, and it's really, I love the episodes. Like the guy does a really great job of putting together a series.
I know we mentioned this on the first time we tried to do this. Both John and I have nothing but the utmost respect for any soldier, any veteran, anybody who served.
Absolutely.
Especially if you served in a theater like Vietnam or Afghanistan or, any place really. But the Vietnam veterans have a special place in my heart just because, like, I remember that growing up. And, I know my mom was crying because her friend was killed in Vietnam. I know, I heard stories of guys who had come back and were at the house and, they were in Nam and they were telling this story or that story. And
Marty had some really fucked up stories of one of his buddies that came back from Nam. So the guy that I worked for, Marty, God rest his soul, he always said that, what was it, Nixon? Whoever president was there, he's like, that's my favorite president in the world. He got me out of the Vietnam War. So he had his draft card, but he never got pulled because the Vietnam War ended like right as he was supposed to go in. But one of his friends' dads or one of his, I forget what it was in the Vietnam War. No, I thought like one of his friends' dads was in the World War II. And then his friend was in Vietnam, but he's like, this motherfucker was crazy. Like, he was a helicopter pilot. Yeah. He's like, he would fly under like the bridges and like just do crazy shit.
Yeah.
And then you think to yourself, like, is that real? Like, but this is like the 70s, and shit was so different back then. Like not like now. Like everything's on camera. Like everything's so tight. You can't even fart without somebody fucking knowing about it.
Well, everybody knows that you just farted. So.
But yeah, I mean.
So do you remember when we did the when we put the HVAC units on for the renovation?
Yeah, that was yeah.
That guy was a Vietnam helicopter pilot, the guy who dropped all those. So the job before they came to us was at an Amazon facility.
Amazon warehouse.
Yeah. And he had a rotor failure on his helicopter. And he had this 20-ton unit that he was putting on the roof. And basically he had to drag this unit across the roof, detach the strap, go over the edge, and he landed safely in the parking lot. Most pilots would have crashed that helicopter. He landed it safe. Nobody was hurt. Nobody was injured.
That would be one of my lifelong dreams, is to fly into Huey, or not a Huey, God damn it! What was the chopper that they used there?
Hueys.
Was it
the Jolly Greens?
Oh, why am I thinking Huey's wrong?
Huey was widely used in Vietnam.
Yeah, it was like the helicopter they used.
Yeah.
To transport the troops, drop them off, pick them up.
Yeah, Hueys.
Okay. I thought that was the wrong name. But yeah, I mean, I love watching Vietnam shows on like YouTube and shit. There was this really cool documentary that I watched. It was this guy, he was in Vietnam and he came back and became a teacher. And then he was like a really good artist and he worked at a school. And he made like wood statues and shit with like chainsaws and stuff. And just his story was fucking awesome. I wish I could remember what the guy's name was. But it's very inspiring, was what I'm trying to say. Like these guys, like, you know, went through a lot of shit and were treated like dirt. And, you know, a lot of them were able to pull it together. Some maybe couldn't. And again, history likes to repeat itself. You see the same shit happening today.
Yeah.
And it's fucking sad.
And they were put in an incredibly difficult position to the Viet Cong cared about nothing. They didn't care about themselves. They just wanted to win. So, like, it's just like the radical Islamics. They behead people. They torture people. They don't care. There's no Geneva Convention for them.
Right.
It was the same way for the Viet Cong. They didn't care. It was win at all costs. And, you know, we come from a society here in America where, you know, that is not how we live. Like, we value life.
Right.
Despite what anybody in the world will say, people in the United States value life. And so when you go into a war zone and you have to do some of these things, it's horrific, and it takes a toll on people, on their psyche. But we're talking about movies that were made about the Vietnam War. So if someone says to you, you have 2 seconds, name a Vietnam War movie, what's your movie?
Platoon.
Okay. Mine's Full Metal Jacket.
Was the same. That was the first. Actually, you know what? I think I did watch Full Metal Jacket before Platoon. But still, Platoon in my head, like, was more memorable for me.
Well, actually, the most memorable one for me is Apocalypse Now.
That's a long ass movie. I haven't seen that for a while, so I can't really refer to it.
Did you know they made a redux to it?
No.
They added like 4 hours to it. It's like a 6 hour long movie with the redux, and it's stuff that you do not need to see.
Like Apocalypse Now seems like an acid trip.
Yes.
Into the Vietnam War, which is kind of cool because, like, I know, like, there was.
Do you remember what the first line from that movie is?
Saigon.
Shit. That's it. Saigon. Shit.
Yeah. I mean, you have Arlie Ermy in Full Metal Jacket.
Yep.
And he was a legit drill instructor, which he wasn't supposed to get that. He was just an advisor on the movie. And then he outbid the other guy for the job.
Yeah.
What is he like? Well, I remember watching Hamburger Hill, which I didn't like, but I watched the real story of it. I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah, Hamburger Hill was one of those movies that was overlooked a lot because it came out within months of Full Metal Jacket and a year after Platoon. In the genre of these movies, it's like...
Yeah. But, I mean...
I know a lot of people who like these type of movies have not seen Hamburger Hill. I love that movie.
The real story of Hamburger Hill is just brutal. Like, ugly, nasty, just... You gotta look it up. Like, watch it. Like, if you're interested in that kind of shit.
So what's your favorite quote from Full Metal Jacket?
I would have to say, I'm gonna cut your balls off, pile, so you can't contaminate the rest of the world.
I like it. What's your major malfunction, numbnuts? Didn't your mommy and daddy show you enough attention when you were a child?
I can't quote that movie. I mean, Private Snowball, sir, yes, sir! What's the matter with you? Looks like the best Looks like the best part of you ran down
your mama's the crack of her ass. It became a brown stain on the sheets.
Looks like the best part of you ran down the crack of your mama's ass and ended up as a brown stain on the mattress. I think you've been cheated.
I think you've been cheated.
Is that you, John Wayne? Is that
me? Who said that? Who the fuck said that?
Who's the communist cocksucker that... I like you. Hell, you can come over to my house and fuck my sister. Boom! He punches him in the stomach. Your ass looks like 2 tons of chewed bubblegum, Private.
Hamburger Hill. Apocalypse Now. Like,
wait, let me go. Oh, wait, we haven't hit that one yet.
What, Platoon?
No. It's not on there. I know it's on your list.
Well, this is like my favorite line, and it's often misquoted from Apocalypse Now.
Of napalm.
Yeah. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. You know, one time we had bombed this hill for 12 hours. When it was all over, we walked up. We didn't find one of them. Not one stinking dink body. The smell, you know that gasoline smell? The whole hill smelled like victory. I always, that scene with the air cav,
yeah,
is like, that's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
He's out there surfing while they're being shelled. Like, that was the mentality. Like, nobody freaking cared because they thought they were going to die the next minute. So just do what you had to do. Do what you wanted. Platoon, Tom Berenger, William Dafoe, Charlie Sheen, Forrest Whitaker, Johnny Depp, like, just packed with stars.
A lot of heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Now, I love the making of Platoon. You ever watch that?
No.
So, Oliver Stone was a Vietnam War veteran. And so was the advisor, which I think was... he was the advisor on Band of Brothers. He's another Vietnam War veteran. And it's just... I love hearing the stories of these bougie stars being like, dude, I had to take a crap in the woods. Like they didn't take, like they wanted us to be miserable. And then once we were miserable, we all started clicking as like a platoon.
Right.
And it was fucking beautiful. And there was the one part where I think it was they were on a kill raid, or what they called it in Vietnam. It was I'm really doing them a disservice right now. It was they would go out and seek the enemy and kill them. Okay. Seek and destroy, I think it was called.
Seek and destroy missions, yes. So
they went to a village and they lifted up this like bamboo thing and they threw a grenade in there and like blew up like 3 people in the shell. And they're like, oh my god, like Oliver Stone and the other guy were just like they were like that had happened to them when they were in Vietnam. And they were like, dude, like they obviously were like affected by like that scene.
Yeah.
And they were like, they just like it happened and they turn around like, don't talk about it. And it's just, it's like I said, I got nothing but the utmost respect for them guys that did this, our country, this service. If you got to kill whatever you did, you got my backing. I don't give a fuck.
So this next one is what I always consider probably one of the most realistic.
Yes. We Were Soldiers?
Yes.
And I've heard that from... You didn't get along with him so well.
No. The half.
But I asked him and he said, yes, that was... And you asked other soldiers...
I've heard that from people who were in Vietnam.
And then again, that is a true story. We Were Soldiers.
Based on a true story, yes.
Which was another chaotic, like, I can't believe, like, this fucking happened. Like, it's so insane. Like, it's almost like it's unbelievable.
Right. This movie depicted the first major battle of the war. It showed mostly from the perspective of Americans and the families at home. but it also showed a little bit from the Vietnamese point of view, which I thought was interesting.
But what's
bloody.
Also interesting, yes, bloody.
Yeah.
Is that the cameraman, who I forget what his name is, he played the World War II sniper in Saving Private Ryan. He's a non-contracted media guy with a camera, and then he gets to the end of the battle, and he picks up a rifle, and he ends up fucking going to town, and basically like he was in the service. That legit happened.
Yeah, and you could the guy who played that part was. He did it very well because he got there. He's very naive as to what was going on.
Yeah.
And
like, oh, I don't want to shoot nobody, or like, what are you doing now?
I'm just here to report.
Yeah.
And then by the end, like, he had the 1,000-yard stare, and he had been through the shit and knew what it was about. That one always gives. Every time that one's on, I watch it. Every time Platoon's on, I watch it. Every time Hamburger Hill's on, I watch it. And every time Full Metal Jacket, I had Full Metal Jacket on DVD, and I think my wife hid it from me, so I don't watch it anymore.
But I mean, even aside from, like I said, like the movies, there's tons.
Oh yeah,
of YouTube videos of real life.
Well, there were TV shows that I didn't know about. Like, we just switched cable companies. We had Dish Network before, and on one channel we would get Black Sheep Squadron, which I loved growing up, World War II. But before it, there were two shows that were on before it, or one was on before, one was on after. One was called Rat Patrol, and I recognized some of the stuff in it, so I probably watched it. But I that was a Vietnam thing, and what was the other one?
Dude, there's just so many unbelievable heroic stories, like just crazy, like you wouldn't believe stories from Vietnam.
Well, that book that I was talking about, Nam, that's just the name of it, Nam. It's worth a read. These are stories from guys who were there.
Yeah.
Like a conglomeration of stories from guys who were there, and some of them are whimsical and some of them are horrific.
Yeah.
Like,
check out those Billings, Montana, like Vietnam voices. That deserves a shout out, for sure, because kudos to that guy. He's actually got the balls to go and interview these guys one by one, and get their story and do it, genuinely.
So, 84 Charlie Mopak. Now, when we talked about this first time, you didn't know this one.
I still don't know it.
You never got a chance to watch it?
No.
You said you were gonna.
I say a lot of things.
You lied to me. 84 Charlie Mopak is the MOS code for combat cameraman, and that's what this movie was about. So it followed a combat cameraman through Vietnam, and it shows you their life through the lens of his camera. I actually enjoyed this one. It's not the best one out there. It's not even very well known, but I enjoyed this movie.
That aside, when I was thinking about going into the military, before I got.
Are you gonna tell the story?
Before that,
I think this is the first time that story was told.
I think so. I wanted to be a combat photographer.
Oh, so you've been gay your whole life?
Well, most of it. But I was always heavily interested in.
You want to join the Marine Corps and blow shit up?
Well, maybe when I was. I think it was before that, but when that guy called, I wasn't really thinking about it. But had I given the chance, I would have done that. I would have had a camera in my fucking hand and a rifle in the other.
Well, they had to participate in the war in two different ways, and that movie actually, you would like that movie. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
I'm sure. Yeah, that's what you said last time.
No, I will. Just I forgot. You know what I'm saying?
Rescue Dawn.
Great movie.
Yeah, Christian Bale.
That goes in a whole different. That's like POW.
Yep.
You know, psychosis.
But
like
that's based on a true story.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Of Dieter Dengler.
And you know he finally fucking made it out.
Yeah, and that there was.
Did you ever? I forget what the guy's name was, but he was a captured American POW.
Tom McCain.
And he went on. They recorded him, and he did SOS with the flashes of his eyes.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
And he sent a whole message to the American government, like, I'm being held hostage, just with like blinking his eyes. You're like, wow, that's fucking hardcore. We should have done more research on this. I can't remember his name, and there was also another guy who the Vietnamese called him like the retard, but he remembered like 200 POWs' names by singing Old MacDonald, but remembering their names by Old MacDonald.
Damn.
And like, this guy's retarded. What the hell's he doing? He's singing Old MacDonald.
Man, Jeffrey Dahmer's in it.
Yeah.
Good Morning Vietnam.
I still haven't seen this movie.
You never saw this?
Nope.
Get the fuck right out of here.
Okay. I will.
Robin Williams, Forrest Whitaker. It's loosely based on a true story. And the most famous quote from the movie is, "Good morning, Vietnam."
Yep, still.
I can't believe you haven't seen that.
I know.
That's weird.
The Deer Hunter I've seen a bunch of times.
Man, the Deer Hunter. I don't know. I found it.
That's a long movie. It's not necessarily totally Vietnam based.
No,
but it does harken to that. Like,
it was Vietnam vets who came back. One was a POW. Steel factory workers, Allegheny Mountains, Pennsylvania.
Which it was not filmed in the Allegheny Mountains. It was filmed in Seattle.
There's Christopher Walken, Meryl Streep, Bobby D. Robert De Niro before he became a political stooge.
Became a political stooge.
He's just like I don't want to hear anybody's views. Keep it to yourself.
You just like we do. Keep out of politics.
Yeah, we try.
Fucking just stop. Well, he was probably paid off to say that shit.
I don't think he knows what he's saying anymore. He's just old.
No,
he thinks he's actually a gangster.
He's got a lot of clout, or not clout. He's got a lot of standing, so somebody in like NBC or who the fuck promotes him was like, dude, we'll give you like $1 million if you just promote this agenda.
Did you know that they were actually making Vietnam War movies while the war was going on?
No.
Yeah.
How the fuck is that possible?
I'm telling you, bro.
Like, what were they about?
In 1964, there was a U.S. movie called The Yank in Vietnam.
Well, I know the Vietnam War goes way before we were in there. The French were there in like the 50s, I think.
So while we were messing around in Korea?
Yeah.
To the Shores of Hell was in 1966. And this is the first one that I thought this was actually the first one. It was 1968.
Is that
John Wayne?
John Wayne.
And all due respect to John Wayne, this had to be the most unrealistic war movie I've ever seen. Let's see, what's this one? The Losers. It was in 70. And now things are starting to ramp down. But there's like 13 movies were made before the Vietnam War ended. Yeah, some of them were made by North Vietnam. Some were made by U.S. This one was made by West Germany. There's one from South Vietnam. I can't even pronounce it. But yes, I don't know how they made the movies. Like, I don't know if they were propaganda movies, if they were, or what. I don't know. So I just watched this one the other day, Bat 21. You ever see that? Gene Hackman.
God, I think I started to watch it.
And Danny Glover.
No, I've never seen it.
Gene Hackman's a pilot, gets shot down, and he's shot down in enemy territory. He has to make his way to an extraction point, and Danny Glover's a spotter pilot who is looking over him day after day after day as he's traveling. I enjoy it. It's a good movie. Air America was another Mel Gibson film, I think.
Whore!
Yeah.
I'll bury her in a rose garden.
I think this one was about.
Wait, he was in
civilian pilots in.
He was in the fucking.
We Were Soldiers.
We Were Soldiers, yeah.
Forrest Gump's not really a Vietnam War movie, but it's.
Oh my god! Maybe my sister was just talking about today. Sorry, rode your Black Panther powder.
But it's filmed during that time. It shows kind of both sides. It shows a little bit of in country. It shows the strife at home.
Yeah. Oh, what was the Born on the 4th of July? You remember that one?
That was
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. But he was a veteran. He was home. I don't think they showed him in
no,
Vietnam.
they showed him in Vietnam. Yeah, it was like
it's
weird.
Been a while since I saw it.
He got paralyzed, came back home, and then he started with the whole crowd of anti-war protests. I think he moved to Mexico, and I think Willem Dafoe was in it, maybe, or somebody else, some really other famous actor. It was like that famous spitting scene. He's like, "Fuck you, no, fuck you," and he started, spitting at each other. They're in the wheelchairs; they couldn't swing on each other.
So I picked the most realistic as We Were Soldiers and the Deer Hunter.
I'm still gonna go with because I was there. I'm gonna go with Platoon.
You were in Platoon?
For me, that's the most real.
And most unrealistic is Green Beret. Sorry.
Green Berets even Green Berets in Nam?
I don't even know. I know it's where the Frogmen started.
And they must have been the early where the elite,
I think Green Berets went back to World War II.
I don't know. Listen up, partner. Why are you wearing those sandals?
The movie The Killing Fields. I just thought that was so freaking boring. I think I only ever watched it once, and that was it. I was done.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see what else is on this list. See if there's any I forgot.
Where's my favorite?
Oh.
White Ghost.
Tell us about your favorite.
Oh my god! Did I tell you how I found this movie?
No, he didn't.
So we were researching this the last time, a year ago, and I went on Tubi, which is a free app, and they got all kinds of movies on there. You can watch some ads every now and then, and they have a genre of Vietnam movies, and the one was White Ghost. Worst movie, not even Vietnam movie, worst movie ever.
Now I'll add that when we talked about this the first time, I looked it up, and the actor who played Greatest American Hero,
I think it was in Whitesnake.
What?
But yeah,
the actor who played Greatest American Hero was the lead in that movie.
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
You don't know what Greatest American Hero is?
No. He was terrible. It was like, I think the premise of the movie was like 10 years after the Vietnam War ended, and he was like locked in an ammo crate somewhere, and some a patrol comes by and finds him. He hops out and like wastes the guys, and then this like Vietnamese girl comes by and attacks him and like puts him in a headlock, and he's like, "Oh, baby, I've missed you." She's like, "Oh no, just trying to keep you on your toes, honey." And he's like, "How's that baby doing in your stomach?" She's like, "Oh, the baby's doing fine. Where are we gonna move to now?" And I just turned the fucking movie off. I'm like,
No, you watched the whole thing.
no, I did not.
Yes, you did, because you were quoting parts of the movie.
No, I told you I turned it off.
You know, like a baby is in my belly.
You know, like a baby in my belly. And I'm like, what the? No thanks.
Oh yeah, Air America was.
But what I found is, I'm telling you, Mike, I'll send you a couple links, but the Vietnam Voices is hands down probably better than any movie you've ever seen. It's just from a vet's perspective, like, you know, what they did.
Here's one I've never seen, and it's Oliver Stone. Heaven and Earth.
Here goes Forrest Gump. The Walking Dead. What?
It's not the Walking Dead TV show. It's a movie called The Walking Dead.
Oh. Operation Dumbo Drop?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Come on.
Green Berets bribe Vietnamese villagers with an elephant.
Dead presidents? For Tigerland. Oh, I see tunnel rats there. There's another interview with a guy who was a tunnel rat. And I'll send you a link, dude. There's just nothing. You can't believe it. It's like
21 and a Wake Up. I saw that. Anyway, I mean, there's a ton of movies. Not all of them are good. John told you his worst, which is White Ghost. Didn't even watch the whole thing. He says now he didn't watch the whole thing, but when we talked about it the first time,
no, you can. I know you have the audio.
I have the video too. It's just horrible.
Go back, and I'll tell you that I did not watch the whole thing. I turned it off.
What are these TV shows? Documentary film. Letters Home from Vietnam. I've seen that.
How up to date is? How up to date is this?
2020 was the.
Do they have the Vietnam Voices on there?
I don't know. Is it a documentary?
Yes.
Let's see. Vietnam in HD. I've seen that.
Yeah. Didn't I lend you those DVDs? I
have not watched them yet.
They go through like the whole beginning of like all the politics and shit.
Nope. No Vietnam Voices.
Do a quick Google search. Vietnam Voices Billings, Montana. The Vietnam Voices YouTube.
Mm-hmm. 78 videos.
Yeah.
You can either spend 45 days in jail or go in the military. Yeah, I'll have to watch that. I'm going to subscribe to it. That's the Billings Gazette. I'll have to link that here. Put this link on this episode. So I know it's not really the episodes about movies. These are actually true stories. I think these are more important than any movie you could talk about.
Hell yeah. I took like 3 days and I just like watched as many as I could find. It's like you get just lost in their stories. You're like, holy fuck, man! Like I can't imagine.
This one's 3 hours long.
Yeah.
That looks interesting. I'll have to watch that.
Yeah, it's good. I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I'll link that in this the bottom down here description. So, any other movies you... I know we talked about some other movies before.
I can't really think of anything else. I think we touched on what we wanted to. Probably do a episode 2. Think of more. We can watch a couple more.
Well, we could actually watch these interviews, and
honestly, Mike, I'd rather watch the interviews.
I would too. Well, I won't say that because some of them get too real for me. Like
they're real.
Some of it's like.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I didn't want to go in depth on
with a movie you can.
I'd rather somebody just see that and like watch it for themselves.
Yeah.
And not us interview a guy that was or review an interview of a guy that was there telling his story.
Yeah, I think, like I said, that book Nam, that affected me when I was younger, and some of these movies did too. And when you're younger, you don't really distinguish reality from fiction as much as you do when you're older. And I think now I crave the fiction because there's too much fucking reality.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So?
I don't know. That's it.
I feel like is this episode just worse than our first one? Are we gonna have to redo this?
No, I don't think so. We're lucid this time. I think we talked about a little bit more movies last time.
I think we just talked a lot more last time.
That could be. Well, I know there's a lot of interrupting.
No. Wouldn't happen on our podcast.
Never. But, so, that'd be it. So we took on the world of Vietnam War movies.
Kind of.
Sort of. Now you go take on the world. Hold on, stop.
Welcome back to the Shit Show 2.0.
Okay, Boomer.
Damn millennials. Wow.
Did not know that. Even flirters who are obviously mentally ill.
Oh, this is gonna go downhill real quick.